This video focuses on the geography of Egypt, the Kingdom of Kush, and Canaan during the ancient period. Topics include the Nile River Valley, the Jordan River, the deserts near Egypt, Kush, and Canaan, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Red Sea. The video also explains how vegetation, topography, and water affected settlement of ancient people in these areas. The first topic is the Nile River Valley. The Nile and the river valley on either side provided food, water, and transportation to the Egyptians and the Kushites during ancient times. The Nile is the longest river in the world, and it flows from eastern Africa to the Nile Delta into the Mediterranean Sea. The Kushites lived south of Egypt and were also known as the Nubians. Canals and trenches were dug to irrigate farmers' fields along the river. The Nile was used as a highway for trade by boats along the river. If you go a few miles away from the Nile, it is mostly desert, so the water was needed for farming and settlement. The valley also supported vegetation such as papyrus and reeds. In the summer, the river overflowed its banks, soaking the ground for several weeks and leaving it covered with fertile silt. Crops like wheat and barley were grown in the valley for food. The next topic is the Jordan River. The Jordan River flows from the Lebanon mountains south to the Sea of Galilee and into the Dead Sea. Canaan was one civilization that settled this region in ancient times. To the east of the river is the Syrian Desert. The Sea of Galilee was a freshwater lake that was excellent for fishing, farming, and traveling. The Dead Sea, on the other hand, was too salty, and the land near it was too hot and dry for farming. The Jordan River was different from the Nile in that it did not flood. Human settlements were favored along rivers, so this is why some of the first settlements were along rivers such as the Nile and the Jordan River. Mountains and deserts were hard to live in. Few people ventured into these areas to graze animals like sheep and goats. Hilly land, coastal plains, and river valleys were better environments for this activity. The third topic are deserts. There were many deserts that surrounded the civilizations of Egypt, Kush, and Canaan. Deserts were harsh environments because sometimes sandstorms had high winds, low visibility, and particles that could get into the lungs and eyes. To the east of Canaan was the Syrian Desert. The environment was hot and dry. To the southwest was the Negev Desert, which received more water because in the winter months it occasionally rained in this area. The Nile, near Egypt, and the Kingdom of Kush were separated by a great desert. On the east side of the Nile, the desert was called the Nubian Desert, and on the west side of the Nile, the desert was called the Libyan Desert. One benefit of these deserts was that it provided natural protection from invaders. The fourth topic is the Mediterranean Sea. The northern border of Egypt was defined by the Mediterranean. Remember, the Nile River flows from south to north into the Mediterranean Sea. The end of the Mediterranean ends with a vast river delta that supports many farming communities. People cannot drink directly from the Mediterranean because it is salty, but it is an excellent source for fish and other seafood. Other civilizations could trade with Egypt and Canaan by using the Mediterranean. On the western side of Canaan, coastal plains bordered the Mediterranean Sea. In the northern part of Canaan were the Lebanon mountains, and in the southern part of Canaan were the hills of Galilee. Although the Mediterranean Sea created opportunities for ancient people, it was also where a mysterious group called the Sea People invaded during the late Bronze Age collapse, roughly from 1200 BCE to 900 BCE. There is still debate on where these invaders came from. The final topic is the Red Sea. To the east of Egypt and Kush, and to the south of Canaan was the Red Sea. The Red Sea separated the continents of Africa and Asia. To the north of the Red Sea is the Sinai Peninsula. Exploration of the Red Sea was first done by the ancient Egyptians as they attempted to trade with the Land of Punt, that was located on the Horn of Africa. One of the most famous expeditions was when Pharaoh Hatshepsut sent a fleet to explore and trade with Punt. In the book of Exodus in the Bible, there is an account that the ancient Israelites crossed this body of water. By 2600 BCE, Egypt was trading products such as lentils, papyrus, and textiles in the Red Sea. The Red Sea has an abundance of sea life, and it is known as a place that has some of the best coral reefs in the world. I hope this video has helped you. Please subscribe if you haven't already and share my content with someone who might find this useful. Also, don't forget to check out some of my other educational and historical videos.